I'm excited for this next game in the conversation we're about to get into. So we're going to take a trip to Lambeau, and the Niners are getting plus 5.5 right now. Rob, I know you feel very good about the Niners, and I can't wait to argue with you. Go ahead.
How can you argue against the Niners? They've been our best play the last 2 weeks, right? They've come through for us 2 weeks in a row. It was the only shining moment of last weekend. And, I know it's been said throughout the end of the season, towards the beginning of these playoffs, like this is the matchup that Green Bay did not want in their first matchup in the divisional round, the San Fran. I'm just going to throw this one out there for you guys. Green Bay ranks 28th in the league DVOA in rush defense. What do the Niners do? They run the ball, right? They're ranked 5th. So I just think that the way these two teams match up, I think they're much more evenly matched up than the spread indicates. And I just think because we know the San Fran is going to lean heavily on that run game, and that's been their bread and butter, especially with the creativity of Shanahan and the way that this matchup presents itself towards that San Fran running game. That's why I love the Niners this week. I love them at the 5.5. Again, we're in a situation, I think it's very similar to the Cowboys-Niners game last week, right? Where, conventional betting wisdom, at least in my respect, would be, we could expect some public money coming in on the Packers towards the end of the week, leading up to Saturday afternoon. If that doesn't happen, and in the looks of it now, there is a little bit of juice on the Niners 5.5, then again, that tells me the Packers are in trouble. Just like we were expecting the Cowboys to get a little bit more public love off the key number of 3, and it never happened, right? So, I just think the run game matchup for the Niners is what leads me to love them. I think probably my favorite play of the week again with the Niners this week, going up against that Green Bay run defense. I understand Green Bay's got some big guys coming back, like big guys, all pros, Jair Alexander, David Bakhtiari, but neither of those guys are going to help Green Bay in their run defense.
I hear everything you're saying. I agree with you about the Niners personnel. Love that. But here's my biggest issue. You're playing Aaron Rodgers. If you make mistakes in the second half, there is no way that you squeak that game out against them. And I think the most important part about this game is Aaron Rodgers has 3 legacy games coming up. This one, and they all become more important. This one next week, and then the 2 weeks after that. Every single game is a legacy game. And if he doesn't bring home the trophy, and if I'm the Packers, I'm like, all right, you can talk all that shit, cause up such a stir, but you can't do it anymore. It's everything you do in the regular season's great. He needs to win this game. And I don't think the Packers are as soft as people are making them out to be. And it's going to be, 8 degrees in Lambeau this week?
I saw 1.
1?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Bro, get the fuck out of here. Jimmy G, best looking guy in football. There is no way that pretty boy is going into Lambeau, and he's going to be able to control and manage the game that he's going to have to, because he is always due for one critical mistake. Rob, I see this one coming out the way the Niners dictated the tempo early against the Cowboys, but if you let the Packers inch their way back in, they're not going to be able to stop Aaron Rodgers on a year like this. It's just too important to him.
No, and I totally agree. I mean, you can't let Green Bay back into the game like you let Dallas, right? Because you give that opportunity to Green Bay, and especially Aaron Rodgers, who I think we all agree is a much better quarterback than Dak Prescott and knows how to handle an end-of-game situation, then the Niners will be dead. And frankly, Green Bay, obviously, with Aaron Rodgers, has a clear advantage in the passing attack. They're ranked 3rd in passing offense versus the Niners 16 in pass defense. So there's a clear advantage there. So again, it comes down to, can the Niners keep Aaron Rodgers off the field enough with that run game to build that lead, force them into passing situations, and make a few plays.
Yeah, and one thing we haven't touched on yet is the Jimmy Garoppolo injury, that shoulder that he sustained last week in the first half. And he didn't look the same after that in the second half. He threw that horrible, horrible, horrible pick that, I mean, he tried to give the game back. But, I mean, that's really what keeps me off this Niners side. It's Packers or nothing for me.
He did everything in his power to lose that game.
He wanted to lose that game, yeah.
I saw Kyle Shanahan's beard turn to a different shade of gray in that second half. He was about to lose his fucking mind on Jimmy Garoppolo. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. Between the thumb and the shoulder, and you're going to go play in 1 degree weather.
And Jimmy G, in a press conference this week, did say that the shoulder affected him in that second half, which I'm kind of surprised he admitted, but he did.
He's already acting like a wounded animal.
Right. He's already getting his excuses in there. The Trey Lance by the third quarter.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Rookie appearance.
Wow.
Okay. Let's go.
Big stage, bright lights. Good luck with that.
Prove that first round pick was worth it.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I still lean, Niners overall. Again, if they can't keep Green Bay off the field, if they go down early, then then that side's in trouble. I absolutely, totally agree on that. But I'm counting on the fact that, like I said, they're bread and butter. This is a great matchup for that run game. Shanahan's creativity. You're going to see a healthy dose of both Mitchell and Samuel. I really like the way that they've been using Samuel out of the backfield, and it's been effective. And I don't think I haven't seen any defense come up with an answer for that yet. I don't know if the Packers have an answer for that, just with how they've played, against the run for this year. So I think that's big. I'm going to be looking at targeting Niners rushing props, Mitchell, Samuel. So keep an eye out on that. Once those lines go up or later this week, I'm really interested to see where those fall. I also think Kittle's a big advantage for them in this game too. I mean, it goes without saying he's one of the best tight ends in the league. But I think this is a tough matchup for the Packers against Kittle. I mean, without all that said, I think we're in for a great matchup. I would hope, and I know we talked about the health of Jimmy G, but it also comes down to whether or not Nick Bosa is a full go, right? And I know, he had the concussion last week. He's limited participant so far as of today. That's going to be huge for him. And I expect him to play, which is why I'm okay with taking the 5.5 now. There's at least on DraftKings, it's about a minus, paying an extra 10 cents of juice on the Niner spread. So I don't know if I can bet or trust on that public money coming in on Lambeau, unless, Bosa were to not play, right? Then you'll see that line shoot back up closer to 6.5, maybe even a touchdown. But I do expect him to play. And if he does give it, it is fully cleared, that line may drop. Another one interesting here is that 47-point total. And again, just like the prior game, Cincinnati and Tennessee, Green Bay and San Fran both ranked close to dead last in pace of play, just overall, again, across all, game situations. So do you guys have any thoughts on this one, on whether or not, you lean on one side or another? It's pretty evenly split right now, the tickets and the money on the over-under. But I could possibly be looking at that one as well as we get through later in the week, see how that plays out.
I lean to the over here. The only thing that's keeping me off is Jimmy G's health, that I don't trust that. But I think with a fully healthy Jimmy G, like if he plays the whole game and isn't complaining about his shoulder or whatever, I think they will be able to put up some points. I mean, you can run on the Packers. That's real.
Yeah, my fear is if Jimmy G's already talking about it, if he's talking about his injury right now, he's already laying out his excuses.
I agree.
That's how I view that. It's like, I'm hurt, so don't expect me to do anything exceptional this weekend. And with the Packers getting healthy, getting a lot of good players back, I think that's right on the number. I couldn't tell you a side and feel confident about it. I'm going to stay away. What you're saying, Sean, on paper to me, like, I totally agree. But there's just something about...
And let's face it, I mean, when we talk about quarterback matchups in the playoffs, right, like we lean towards the better quarterback. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, head and shoulders above Jimmy Garoppolo, right? So, if you're a Niners backer this week, like I am, or I'm leaning towards, you're really counting on Shanahan and to exploit that, that advantage in the run game, and they need to capitalize on that early and often to have a shot in this one. But I think that matchup alone makes it worth sprinkling a little bit on the Niners money line again, just because it's a tough matchup for them. But totally agreed. If Jimmy Garoppolo is in full strength, if he is prone to mistakes in this game, like he's been throughout his career, and particularly at the end of last week's game, then yeah, definitely definitely see the Green Bay covering this one easily. Us Niners backers, we're really banking on that run game.
I think we're gonna know everything we need to know about that football game in the first 8 minutes of game time. And it'll be settled there whether it's going to be a classic or a rout.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great one. And I could see this being prototypical. Niners dictate the game style, the pace of play, everything early, and then you see a classic Aaron Rodgers comeback. But there is something to be said about the way he acts in the playoffs in the fourth quarter. He gets a little gun shy. He didn't want the ball, and they kicked the field goal. Like, you need to bring that shit up. Like, there is something to be said about that. Everything's kosher to him in the regular season when it really doesn't matter, and he knows he's going to get him regardless. Because, everybody talks shit on the NFC East, but that division's trash too. You got 4 free wins. So, like,
yeah, and he's that division alive, throughout his career, and his numbers.
Yeah, he's got nothing to worry about out there.
Yeah,
we'll see. That's a good one. I can't pick a side because I don't disagree with anything you're saying, Rob. I kind of agree with all of it, but I also just feel like I can't fade Aaron Rodgers. Not really in this game, but in this point in his career and how important this playoff run is to his legacy, I can't fade him. I could definitely see them winning and not covering easily. But there's just something about the juju in the air on how important it is to him that I just kind of want to stay away from it.
Yeah, and you know how good his numbers are at Lambeau, right? Against the spread.
Yeah,
So it's tough. It's tough to go against them, but yeah, I just think because of the matchup, that's why I'm leaning the Niners in this one.